Hi everybody and welcome back to the FPL Family YouTube channel. I'm Sam and today we are taking another look at the top points picks for game week 6. So these are the 3 players, one per position, a defender, a midfielder and a forward, who I think will return the biggest FPL points in the upcoming game week. So these are players that we are expecting to have a really good game and therefore players that I think we should be investing in this week. Now, this is the first time this season that all 3 of my top points picks are in my FPL team, so I hope that I am right. Let's start, as always then, with the defender. So this time around, it is Manchester United's Luke Shaw. Now, Luke Shaw has been a bit of a disappointment so far this season, and it pains me a little bit to say that because he was one of the first names on my team sheet during the whole of pre-season. Actually, he very, very rarely left a draft because I was really expecting him to have a great season. But we just haven't really seen that so far. 4 points against Southampton, 6 points against Wolves and 5 points against Newcastle. But he also managed just a 1-pointer against Leeds and a 2-pointer last week against West Ham. So we haven't seen the consistency that we did last season from Luke Shaw. We haven't seen the clean sheets and we haven't really seen the assist and the goal potential. Now, we have had an assist from him so far in game week 4 for Ronaldo. So we've seen the linking up beginning with those two, and it was there in game week 5 also, but of course didn't get any attacking returns in that game, which was a little bit disappointing as a Luke Shaw owner. But he is second for creativity across the ICT index. The ICT index, for those of you that don't know, is something that I really like to look at when I'm making my picks and making my transfers. ICT stands for creativity, influence and threat. Each player is ranked in terms of what they are doing over the course of every game to give them a score for influence, a score for creativity and a score for threat. That score then results in a position across the game, but also across the position that they are playing in. So for Luke Shaw, he is the second most creative defender in the game at the moment. That only bodes well for attacking returns, particularly assist potential. And as I mentioned, we've already seen that link up with Ronaldo in game week 4. If he can build on that going into game week 6, we should see some attacking returns. But most importantly with the defenders, of course, it is all about the clean sheet. Villa are bottom for expected goals from open play at just 2.0. That increases the likelihood of the Manchester United clean sheet. So with some attacking threat there, alongside a low XG from the opposition, and we should see Luke Shaw get a good return this week. I certainly hope so, for staying loyal to him for so long so far this season. Now let's move into the midfield now. I'm starting to feel a little bit like a broken record, but for me there really was only one option when picking the top point scoring midfielder this week, and that was of course Liverpool's very own, the Egyptian king. It is Mo Salah. It's going to cost you 12.6 million to invest in Mo Salah if you haven't already done so, but now he is owned by nearly 58% of the game. So if you do not own Salah, wow, that is going to hurt your rank over the course of the season, even more so because of the level of captaincy that he will attract this week. He will probably be the most captained player in the game, I would imagine. I had a little look at Mo's stats against newly promoted sides, and he averages 8.42 points per match against the newly promoted teams. He's also registered 3 double-digit hauls in the first 5 matches, as well as another 8-pointer. So he's only had 1 blank across the first 5 game weeks. 11 points ahead of the next highest scoring midfielder, who is Said Benrahma of West Ham. The overall ICT index for midfielders ranks him top. When we have a little look at creativity and threat for midfielders, he is second in both of those categories. But importantly, he is not only top for the ICT index for influence amongst midfielders, he is top of the whole ICT index overall across the entire game. So he is the player that is the most threatening, the most creative and the most influential across the entire FPL game when it averages out in total. So this is something that really helps when it comes to nailing captaincy decisions. For me, therefore, he is the one whose overall stats are driving positive results for Liverpool, and therefore he is the one that I want to be investing in going into game week 6, and I'm going to trust with my captain's armband this week. Whilst Brentford have, the opposition that Liverpool have this week, have been incredibly good defensively, and I think they've surprised a lot of managers coming into the Premier League and being as defensively solid as they have been, because actually it was Watford that were the most defensively secure during the Championship, but Brentford have really stepped up to the Premier League challenge incredibly well, both going forward and defensively. But they are yet to be tested against a really, really strong opposition opponent when it comes to attacking threat. They obviously had Arsenal in game week 1, but that wasn't the Arsenal team that you would kind of associate normally with Arsenal. They were missing some key players, they had COVID-related issues, and they just weren't the Arsenal that we were expecting them to be. So it'll be interesting to see how Brentford managed to cope with Liverpool. Liverpool, yeah, they are just one of these teams where they will get huge numbers of attacking returns over the course of the season. Salah has registered 22 goal attempts so far this season and 5 big chances. When you add that to Mane's 24 goal attempts and 6 big chances, I think Brentford are going to struggle with keeping a clean sheet, but I trust Salah's returns far more than I do Mane's, although Mane does appear in this week's Jammy Pick video. If you haven't already watched it, I'll pop a little link in the eye above so you can have a little watch of that and see what I make of Mane and his underlying stats. But I do think that Mo Salah is going to have a really good game in game week 6 and therefore is not only going to be the top point scoring midfielder, but he could be the top point scoring player across the entire game, and that's why he will wear my captain's armband this week. And finally then, the top points pick in the forward position. Now this one was a little bit more difficult because there were 2 or 3 options that I thought were really viable, none less than Cristiano Ronaldo, who will make a fantastic top points pick for forwards this week. But instead, I've gone with this man, Michail Antonio. 3 double-digit hauls to start the season. Back from his suspension, given a full rest in the League Cup, didn't travel. Great fixture against a Leeds side that are definitely, from the press conference that Bielsa gave earlier on today, going to be without Bamford. But Bielsa was incredibly vague about the other players. He sort of said, the others I just don't know yet. And that worries me for Leeds in terms of what happens with Rafinha and also in terms of Ayling in particular. If Ayling doesn't make it to start this game in game week 6, then Antonio could have an absolute field day against a Leeds defence that have not been solid at all so far this season. Even if Ayling does make it, how fully fit is he? And therefore, he could still be a great option for Antonio to play against. Leeds have the worst expected goals conceded total across the whole division with 10.20, the third worst expected goals conceded total, 10.20. That suggests that West Ham will be able to score against them. Couple that with the fact that West Ham are 4th for XG with 8.98, again suggests that they have got a good potential for scoring a goal against a team that have got good potential for conceding a goal. West Ham have had 77 goal attempts so far this season. Antonio is the top for goal attempts across the entire forwards in the game. He accounts for 16 of those big goal attempts that West Ham have had. That's a massive percentage going in Antonio's favour. I suspect that West Ham will have a bit of a field day against Leeds this weekend, particularly if they have no get out in terms of Bamford. It's going to be very hard for them to get the ball away from their own goal, especially if Rafinha is missing as well. We don't know what's going to happen with Rafinha though, so that one is a wait and see. So those are my top points picks for this week. So in defence then, Luke Shaw from Manchester United, going to cost you 5.5 million to invest in the Red Devils man. In midfield then, of course it is the Egyptian King, again, Mo Salah, going to cost you 12.6 million now. And Michail Antonio up top, going to cost you 7.9 million because of all of those sellers during his suspension. He has had a price drop. So if you aren't invested, or if you were and you've sold him, it could be time to think about bringing him back in. What do you think? Do you agree with my top points picks for this game week? Do you think that Shaw, Salah and Antonio are going to do well? I hope so. They're all in my team. If you don't, or if you disagree with me, if you think Ronaldo is going to be the top point scoring forward, and he could very well be, I think he's got good potential as well. And I played around with him and Antonio for a while trying to decide which of them I thought was going to be the most highest scoring this week, but it was the opposition that just tipped it in Antonio's favour for me, given what is happening at Leeds right now, particularly with injuries. But let me know in the comments below who you think will be the top point scoring defender, midfielder and forward in game week 6. If you've enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. And if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. And I will be back on Sunday with Lee for our live stream looking back at game week 6 and ahead to game week 7. See you soon, guys.